You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that had, has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you. Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech and Future Tech Health podcast. I have Wei-Shin and Jason Wolf. They're co-founders of AcousticSheep. Website is AcousticSheep.com and Sleep Phones, SleepPhones.com. So, guys, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Happy to join you again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just full disclosure, I don't know. They were gracious and they sent me a set of sleep phones, which I tried out, which I thought were pretty cool and comfortable. So, just letting listeners know that. But it's a good thing because I've had some experience with the product now. But guys, thank you for coming again.
That's what we like to hear. Our key word is comfort.
Yeah. Well, one question, just jumping right in. Why not modify it so that, it's a headband that has earphones in it, and you could wear it pretty comfortably and sleep. Why not make it so it also goes over your eyes? So it blocks out light and it puts the music in your ears and, you can sleep like that. I use a bootleg version of this with no music sometimes. I'll put a sock over my eyes and it will cover my ear too and muffle sound a little bit. But why not maybe morph the product into something like that?
So actually, we recommend people size down a little if they like to sleep with something over their eyes, because what you can do then is just to pull the headband down and it can cover your eyes.
Okay.
It does double duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know you guys have been here before, but let's, for someone that hasn't listened to the first podcast, where did this device come from? How did you think about it and figure it out and invent
Not
it?
sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, 12 years ago now, and I was a family doctor, and at night I would be getting phone calls from patients, and then it would be hard for me to get back to sleep. And so Jason here suggested that I should listen to some relaxing music, but I tried headphones and they're bulky and you can't sleep on your side, and earbuds just dug into my ears too much. So he came home one night, brought some materials, and we started sewing and soldering, and then came up with the idea of putting thin speakers inside of a stretchy headband. And that's what worked. And, worked for me. And so we decided to make more because I figured, there are lots of people out there, a ton of my patients were having sleeping problems. And so we made more, and turns out it really took off.
Pretty much universally, everybody we showed it to liked it. So it was a hit from the start.
Yeah. Any outliers, people whose heads get hot really easily, or people that have really big heads, with the same form factor, is it a one size fits all type thing, or have you had to make different versions for different people?
So initially, when we first started the business, we soldered and sewed all of them ourselves. And we were buying fabric from Joann Fabrics, and we bought their fleece fabric.
One of the great treasures of the world, economic engine.
Yeah. So, the fleece was mediocre quality. It didn't actually have any stretchy materials inside it, like Lycra or spandex or anything along those lines. And so we ended up having to make 5 sizes. So we had everything from extra small to medium, large and extra large. And so there was an inventory issue.
That was a handful. Yeah.
Yeah, but since then we have definitely upgraded our fabric to some of the best fabric in the world, technical fabrics made overseas, and this has allowed us to go down to 3 sizes, and the medium size really fits, I think, 80-90% of people. So yes, absolutely, there are outliers, really petite, even kids sometimes, like teenagers and stuff like that, or preteens. Will wear the extra small size, perhaps, or the small size, and then the large, beefy people will wear the large size there.
It does happen, but I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
I think it's like most things. It's like the 80-20 rule. Like 80-90% of people are served well by, the one size fits all. But then there's always the people that need, again, larger or smaller. But I'm glad you addressed that.
It's closer to 90. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you thought about making it into like a hat, that also goes over your ears? Is there anyone that gets cold and they want to make it like, again, a hat as well?
So yeah, we thought about the sleep hat design, and that was something that we had initially started making, but it did get a little bit too hot, and we're just not used to wearing something on your head all night. So we don't wear those long stockings and
we've had a vast array of prototypes that we have decided against for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, and this and we actually tried different kinds of fabric, and at this point, some of our biggest sellers are the thinnest fabric that we carry. We call that the breeze fabric.
I wouldn't rule anything out for the future, but I'm still quite in love with the basic format, the original format we have.
Yeah, the fleece is nice and soft. It's just really comfortable.
Cannot be beat.
Okay. So what's typical? Do you have pre-programmed music? Let's say it goes for like 20 minutes. That's soothing to knock someone out and put them to sleep, or do they use their phone and Bluetooth it in and put on whatever they want? Like, what's a good protocol to help people?
All of the above.
Yeah, everybody has their own preferences for what they like to help them sleep. So for me, I like to listen to somebody like telling me to have progressive muscle relaxation exercises and to breathe in and breathe out, like somebody telling me what to do. I guess I'm type A or something. And some people just like the fan noise or raindrops or ocean waves. White noise.
White noise specifically.
Yeah,
I
like
like
that.
nature sounds, but lately it has been pretty much all podcasts or sometimes audiobooks.
Okay, all right. And so there's a wide variety, but I think one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about today was about our newest application. It's a really complex artificial intelligence software that will actually deliver the best music ever.
I think we hinted at it last time, right? We have this project to finally answer the question. We've got the most comfortable delivery mechanism for audio, particularly when you're at rest, and we've seen just an amazing amount of different audio that's purported to help you with different things. And our key concern has always been sleep induction. That may not always be. We'll do other things as well, but we asked the question all this time of what really is the best sound technology.
Yeah, what helps the most people sleep.
So after we just kind of ruminating on this for years, we have devised a system to help us find out with the help of our audience.
Oh, so are you tracking when people wear the headband, how fast it takes them to fall asleep, and you're trying different audio programs to see which one knocks them out the fastest?
So we've
in a way, yeah.
We've created a notional artificial life form. We were using genetic algorithms. We created the genome, which can be expressed as some combination or individually all of these different kinds of sounds that are purported for sleep. We studied what everybody else was doing, and we looked at it as kind of folk wisdom or folklore, kind of like when scientists look for plants that might be drugs that do this or that for health. they look at the folkism of what plants help with what. And we looked at, all the different things that were purported to help, particularly people fall asleep. We looked at all the speculation online, and we created this genome that could create this search space that would accommodate all these different ideas. And
so we mapped different kinds of audio, like binaural beats, and then within binaural beats, you can have different frequencies and tones and stuff like that. And so then if you give all of those variations an allele, which is a specific instance of a gene. So let's say the frequency 260 hertz, you're mapping to this particular allele that goes in the gene, and then basically this genome can have hundreds of thousands of potential variations, right? And so then we can create this artificial life form. We're calling it a sheep for obvious reasons.
We're shaft the sheep.
Yeah. So we take this all of this genetic material and create the sheep, which is a soundtrack that has different layers of music, and then you can listen to it. You can listen to our sheep and determine whether or not it really jumped over the fence and helped you sleep better.
The upshot is that our audience, our users, are presented with an array of tracks each night, which are the expression of these notional sheep, and they can listen to them. And if someone finds one that really helps them fall asleep, we hope that they will rate it highly, and that if enough people do rate a particular sheep highly, it's deemed fit by the system and is given the opportunity to pass its genetic structure on, its structure on to the next generation. And with successive generations, we get better and better and better at achieving our purpose.
So you're having people essentially vote, and the ones that are the most popular are the ones that you're going to be showing more often to people. Is that what you're saying?
Showing more often, but also actually the sheep can reproduce. So we'll take 2 sheep that were highly rated, and then we'll select various, it'll be random.
They each contribute their genetic material.
Just like parents do with their kid. And then the kid will be hopefully a better, a fitter.
It's survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And the way we measure fitness is how well it achieves its purpose.
But again, I mean, so I don't know. One final soundtrack composed of whatever variation may work for me, or it may not. I mean, let's say like Monday night, my day was pretty uneventful, and I worked out a lot, and I'm tired, and I just, I fall asleep quick because of that. Wednesday, my wife bothered me all day, and the kids are driving me crazy, and I'm pissed off about this at work, and my mind is going 100 miles an hour, and it takes me a long time to fall asleep no matter what I listen to. But yet, how do you know that for everybody in every situation on every night that X will work best? I mean, it seems like it needs to be to be most effective, it needs to be a personalized thing with feedback from the person.
Well, I mean, even as you just said, that what works for you one night might not work the next. We expect noise. We expect outliers. The system will tend to move toward better and better results over time, even with that.
Because there'll be several, people voting on these tracks, and having a wide variety of feedback is going to hopefully produce the best results. And absolutely, there's going to be a lot of noise.
In aggregate.
Variation.
In aggregate, over time, we get what we're
And we've actually been in beta testing for a year with this. And during the beta tests, we went down 5 generations. And within those 5 generations, we were already able to see some patterns emerging.
Market improvement.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to see, some of these patterns about the music itself emerge. So, I think this is potentially really promising. And yeah, absolutely. Everybody's going to have different preferences. And eventually we're going to be able to hone in on different demographics, different medical conditions perhaps, and be able to deliver the best music for that audience. But right now, as we are kind of ramping up, we're just looking for a few ideals.
One of the characteristics of algorithms
in order to do that, I understand, but why not put like an accelerometer in the headband? And instead of me telling you what I like, the accelerometer says, "Hey,
we may or may not be able to discuss future products."
Yeah. Yeah, we
well, sure, but I'm saying that's another way to do it. Whether or not you do it in the future, but if you actually get parameters from the person, they're not even reporting it themselves. It's just the data is being collected, and you're noticing, like, there may not be one music, I'm saying, that works for everybody and even the same person at the same time under the same conditions. So it seems to me, and this is just my opinion, that it's better to collect data from the person, again, using a accelerometer or whatever you want to measure, to brain waves if possible, to see, oh, look, this music made them sleep 30% faster. So we're going to just play that for them, and they'll trust that, they're being monitored, and whatever is being played for them is helping them most at that particular time. And to me, that just seems like, I know your first stab at it is the voting, which is great, but it seems like that would be a lot more personalized and better eventually.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you this, that great minds think alike, and I do not want to discuss potential future products yet.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah. Okay.
So one of the characteristics of genetic algorithms is that you're not really looking for one perfect end result. You're looking for improved results over time. And I don't think there's going to be any one answer to all of this. There's going to be multiple answers, and it's going to be really interesting to see what does help and helps when.
Well, what can you say about the trends and patterns you're seeing? Is there anything you can say that anything that surprised you or confirmed what you already thought? Like, are you able to talk about that at all?
I think it's kind of premature for us to come to any conclusions. It's been really neat. We've kind of, as we're perfecting this model, we really slow walked it. We took very small groups of beta testers through it at a time. And now that we've released it, and we're still kind of slow walking, but we've got an audience of a certain size. Progress had been glacial, and things are really starting to move. There are particular technologies that right now are kind of in the lead, right? I think we've seen some great stuff with binaural beats, but I don't feel we've analyzed it enough to really see what the trends are.
As opposed to, say, like isochronic tones or some of the other technologies.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've seen particular tracks that a lot of people agree are great, in even more than I might have expected.
Well, also, too, are people playing music in their head all night, or does it shut off after they fall asleep or after a prescribed amount of time? Like, how do people tend to use it? Or how does the system work?
That is by personal preference. So the app is now available on the App Store, pretty much all of the App Stores. So Apple, Google Play, and Amazon for download for anybody to use, and it's free. So please go and just do it now. What we've seen is that it really seems to people like it. They're listening to it various times. You can set a timer if you wanted to.
I have not yet compiled the numbers to see what people's preferences are, but we will have it available at some point. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it actually just launched on Monday, so we are 2 days in.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is that music that helps me fall asleep faster may not mean I sleep better. And here's the reason why. Like, I don't know. Maybe my REM sleep is fragmented for some reason, for whatever physical reason I have. So what if I had sleep phones? What if I had sleep phones that starts out a certain way, I fall asleep, and then when it somehow senses I get to the REM stages, or maybe just throughout my whole sleep, for some reason the music that plays just preferentially helps me have more REM sleep, which for me helps me better. Maybe there's.
I absolutely concur, and that's why at this phase of the project, we have quite intentionally designed to make it a subjective thing. We're letting we're letting it be a little fuzzy. We're letting people make their own determination rather than trying to impose what is good sleep and what is bad sleep.
That's good. Yeah, I think there's a lot to know. I mean,
that's one of the things.
Yeah, I bet you that if you go deep enough into it, that certain tracks maybe played at certain times and not played at other times will help more deep sleep. Certain ones may stimulate REM sleep. I mean, certain ones may ease wakening. There's a lot you can do with the whole sleep architecture in the night. I mean, you can make people fall asleep faster. You can make them wake up easier. You could, again, modulate their deep and REM sleep, possibly all with audio, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and that, rather than, I think there are a lot of sleep trackers that kind of, do impose what a particular framework of what good sleep is. And I think as we're we're looking at how people actually respond to the tracks. We're going to learn that, and I think we'll have a lot of data to analyze over the long term.
I'm just glad you guys are interested in doing it. That's great, and you don't want to just impose some regime on people. So I'm glad to hear that. Because again, the more personalized you make it, the more control people have over their own fate. When sleeping, and the happier they'll be.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know what the best sleep for me is, and maybe this will help me find out.
Yeah, some people are into lucid dreaming as well, and for that, it would be a whole different set of criteria for those people. And so, to me as a doctor, I know I've seen so many variations between people. Some people will respond to one drug one way and another person completely the opposite way. And so you really can't predict sometimes. And I feel like instead of me telling the patient what's good for them, they need to be telling me what's good for them. And so one of the key measures, I think, is for the customer to, or the user, the listener to rate how energetic they are. It's not, I think I fell asleep in 10 minutes, versus 30 minutes. That's not necessarily the best measure. The best measure is how good do you feel the next day? Are you having sustained energy throughout the day? Are you tired? And any problems like that?
Yeah, right. There's a lot of metrics by which someone could say they feel better or they had the sleep that they wanted, which makes a lot of sense. I got you.
We're doing our bit to maybe catch people before they resort to drugs, more and more.
Yeah, sleeping pills, et cetera. Yeah, no, that's great. So what are some happy milestones you're looking to achieve over the next 6 months or a year?
I like every time we have a baby boom, we get to a certain point and all of a sudden a lot of new creatures are born, and we're trying to figure out exactly what causes that and why. Right, every time we have a new generation, I'm excited.
Okay. So where I see by your websites and everything, you've I don't know, either you're really good at promotion or a lot of outlets are really loving the sleep phones, or both. What do you think has led to your success so far?
This is not something that we're out there pushing on people. I feel like if it helps people, great, they should buy it. If they should know about it, so that it's a better option than sleeping pills, for example. We're not really trying to be like slimy salespeople and tell people, to get something that they don't really need. We want them to want it, and they need to be happy when they own it. That's kind of our
right.
goal. It's to help people sleep better. So, I think that we don't seed anything. I know that there are people out there on Amazon, for example, that will pay for reviews. We don't do any of that kind of black hat stuff. Everything is, everything is legitimate. People like it, they like it, and all the reviews are honest.
Yeah, we got a sense early on. This is something that people were looking for, whether I don't know how they discovered it, but.
Yeah, I mean, we had fine careers before we got into this.
Right.
I was a doctor, I would have been fine. We would have been good. Yeah, quite comfortable. But it was really that the demand for sleep phones was so high, and we felt like there was an obligation for us. Like, this product became something that we didn't quite expect for our day jobs, and it became more of a calling because, my goal has always been to help people. And I know Jason's, one of his goals was to help bring jobs to the Erie area, which is a economically depressed Rust Belt kind of a city.
Right.
And so we combined these goals, and now I'm feeling like I'm helping more people than I ever could have as a doctor. And Jason's brought 20 something jobs to the Erie area. And at this point, we've also brought artificial intelligence to Erie. So these are the types of things that we're proud of.
It's a start.
Yeah, that's great. Any interesting feedback you've gotten from users that surprised you guys?
Huh.
I mean, besides we love it, it's great, I'm sleeping better, all that. Any, I don't know, anything that really piqued your interest that you've heard from users that was surprising to you? Or if not, and it's been just, mostly positive, that's great. I just always like to ask questions like that,
I don't know if I can say. I mean, we've had people with particular medical conditions that just kind of raved about how much it helped them. I was kind of surprised. Connections I might not have made.
Actually, so everything from PTSD to tinnitus and things like that. But what surprised me was kind of this new phenomenon called ASMR. And your listeners are probably already familiar with it.
Those are whisper videos.
Yes, absolutely.
The crackling videos or the
meridian response.
Okay.
And so it's a type of feeling that you get. It's kind of a tingling sensation. It's very relaxing for people. It's kind of, it's based on a grooming behavior. Is some of the theory, like when somebody's really close to you and whispering in your ear or, touching your scalp, like perhaps.
Some I would say lay people decided that they've discovered a new neurological phenomenon, right? And around it has sprung this just amazing and varied community of content creators. And it's just an incredible form of self-expression. I always say it's this generation's punk. Do it yourself, go out and make it happen. And it's really cool. I'm glad we could be a part of it.
And you were saying that it's almost like a grooming thing with apes, right?
That's what some people have theorized that you respond to this like when a hairdresser's working on your hair because it was some social phenomenon that caused bonding or something historically.
Like the primates would pick lice off of each other's heads, and so this is kind of
and it was a very pleasurable thing, so it would encourage them to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wish someone would pick lice off my head. Yeah. But what are you saying? Are you saying that people are using ASMR audios to fall asleep to? Is that what you mean?
Yes. And it's become so popular that we decided to come out with a new product called the ASMR edition, which has 16 tracks from various ASMR artists who are quite famous on YouTube, and we've commissioned them to do a specific ASMR track that is for sleep induction, and there's a wide variety. I listen to them all, and it's all really fun.
We just collected this great group of folks to collaborate with, and it's not all about sleep, right? I mean, it's to enjoy this sensation and to share it with others. And since we have the most, extremely comfortable headphones, even outside of sleep, it's still the way to do it.
Yeah, it's called Sleep Phones ASMR Edition, and it is we funded via Kickstarter last month, and we are in production right now, and we expect to get the shipment, everything finished up in a couple weeks and shipping in September. So it will be on our site live for sale in September.
Okay. Yeah, I see there's like ASMR Darling and all these people. So okay.
Absolutely.
It's funny. I guess personally, I hate whispering, so I don't know if ASMR would work for me, but I'm sure a lot of people like it.
Well, yeah, early on, we were like, hey, you might want to look into ASMR to our newsletter list. And it's funny because an old lady wrote in and she's like, I'm 70-something years old and don't ever do that to me again. She was really freaked out by it.
Yeah, there's a continuum of response to ASMR.
Yeah, it's something. But like my cousin listens to it. He likes dental work for whatever reason. And that's how he falls asleep. So to each their own, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so what's the best way that people can try out the sleep phones and the AcousticSheep? What are some resources for them?
Yeah, so if you want to try out sleep phones, then go to sleepphones.com, which is SLEEPPHONES, like sleep, and then your mobile phone, but headphones. And then And then the app is called AcousticSheep Harmony Project.
The Harmony Project. We're asking people to participate and to help us learn.
And it's available on the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and the Amazon App Store.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming back on the podcast, and I have the feeling I'll be hearing from you again in X number of months as to the next.
Always a pleasure. Yes,
yeah.
we've always got new things going on.
Yeah, we'll have more. There's always more.
You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.